All right, let's dive into this. Video codecs, specifically H.264 and H.265. You've probably bumped into them working on video projects, even if the names sound a bit like tech jargon.
Yeah, most people don't need to think about them too much, but they're super important. They really are the backbone of how we get those videos to actually appear on our screens.
So we're talking video compression, right? Break it down for us. Why should we care about codecs?
Okay, so imagine this. You wouldn't wear like a snowsuit to go for a jog, right? Codecs are kind of similar. You got to pick the right one for the job. In this case, it's all about balancing quality with file size, which, let's be honest, can get out of control with video.
True, especially these days with everyone shooting in 4K. But okay, let's start with what we know. H.264 feels like it's everywhere. Why is that?
It's that codec that just works, been around for ages. It's technically called AVC Advanced Video Coding if you want to get fancy. Haha. But yeah, it's reliable, delivers great quality, and compresses things pretty darn well.
Yeah.
That video you watched this morning, probably H.264.
Probably right. So then where does H.265 fit into all of this?
Think of H.264 as packing a suitcase, right? You get everything in there neatly. H.265, that's like having a professional suitcase packer come in. They're going to get everything in there even more efficiently. Same stuff, way less space.
So essentially better compression.
Exactly. We were looking at some reports, and honestly, it was impressive. H.265 can sometimes shrink file sizes by like 50% compared to H.264, and the crazy part is you're not really losing any noticeable quality.
Wow, 50%. Okay, that's got to be a game changer, especially for 4K video. But come on, there's got to be a trade-off somewhere.
You got me. You're right. No free lunches here. H.265 needs some serious computing power. Encoding, decoding. It's a workout for your computer.
So if H.264 is you casually packing your suitcase the night before, is H.265 like color-coding your clothes and packing a month in advance?
That's a great way to put it. H.265 takes more time, especially if you're working with an older system. It's all about analyzing every single frame to squeeze out the smallest possible file size.
Okay, so it's like, what? Choosing between speed and efficiency. Like fast food versus a gourmet meal, but for video.
Yeah, kinda. But it gets even more interesting when you bring editing into the mix. Because, see, both H.264 and H.265, they're what we call delivery formats. Basically, they're optimized for, sharing your finished video with the world, not so much for messing around with in the editing room.
Delivery formats. So it's like they're ready to go, all packaged up. You wouldn't open a perfectly wrapped gift and start rearranging the tissue paper.
Right, exactly. You need the raw materials for that. Imagine trying to edit a movie on those old DVDs. Not ideal.
Gotcha. So I can't just dive into my editing software with these codecs. What's the workaround?
That's where our friends, the intermediate codecs, come in. They're like the chefs, mise en place, everything prepped and ready to go, making the actual cooking process so much smoother.
Oh, okay. So like having your onions already chopped. Makes sense. But which codecs are we talking about here specifically?
You've got your ProRes, your DNxHR, those are the heavy hitters. They give your editing software the freedom to work its magic without your computer, bursting into flames from the effort.
No computer fires. That's always a plus. All right, so intermediate codecs for editing. Then pick your H.264 or your H.265 for the final product. But with all these factors, it still seems kind of tricky to choose. Like, what's the deciding factor?
You gotta weigh your priorities. Think about your audience, your content, all that jazz. If you need that, like universal compatibility, H.264 is your best bud. Still the reigning champ for a reason.
Yeah, it's like that old reliable pair of jeans that just always works. But I gotta say, I'm intrigued by this whole H.265 thing.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got its perks, especially as we move into this world of 4K and beyond. Imagine you're, I don't know, a nature filmmaker. You're capturing these stunning landscapes, tons of detail. You want to maintain that quality, right?
Absolutely, and probably uploading it to YouTube or Vimeo or something too.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's where H.265 really shines. You get those smaller file sizes, which is huge for storage. And get this, it actually helps with streaming too.
So better quality, smaller files, smoother streaming. Sounds like H.265 is the way to go, right?
It definitely has a lot of advantages, especially as we move towards, well, high resolutions, faster internet, all that. But, and this is a big but, compatibility is still something to keep in mind.
Right, because not everyone's rocking the latest and greatest tech.
Exactly. H.264 still got the upper hand there. It's like trying to play, that brand new video game on a really old console might not work as smoothly.
So for now, H.264 is still the safer bet if you want to reach the widest audience.
Yeah, if you want everyone to be able to watch your video without any issues, H.264 is the way to go. Think of it like choosing a classic board game everyone knows how to play,
Solid analogy. But for those of us who do want to experiment with 4K and all the cool stuff H.265 offers, it sounds like it's worth checking out.
Absolutely. And honestly, you don't have to pick just one and stick with it forever. Try them both out, see what works best for you.
I like that. So any final words of wisdom for navigating this whole codec landscape? It can get kind of technical.
Honestly, don't be afraid to just dive in and experiment. Technology changes so fast, new codecs pop up all the time. The more you experiment, the more comfortable you'll get.
This has been super helpful. Definitely got me thinking about how I can use this in my own projects.
Awesome. That's what we like to hear. Remember, it's not about memorizing every single detail. It's about understanding what each codec brings to the table.
Well said. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
Anytime. Happy editing.